There is a small question we ask each other dozens of times a week. How are you? And there is another, almost identical question that we ask each other almost never. The first is a kind of greeting, a verbal handshake we have quietly agreed not to take very literally. The second is a sentence with a heartbeat in it. How are you really? This week is Mental Health Awareness Week here in the United Kingdom. As a matter of fact, it's the final day. It is run by the Mental Health Foundation, which has been doing this work for 25 years, and the theme they chose for 2026 is one word: action. The case being that awareness on its own is no longer enough. That what makes the difference in the end is not the campaign, it is the action each of us takes inside of it. So I want to offer you the smallest, bravest action I can think of. Welcome to One Question, a short weekly reflection to help you reconnect with your body, your values, and your truth. This week's question is, are you okay? It is a question I want you to ask yourself today, and then I want you to ask someone you love. I know what this question has become online. We type it into comments under videos of people doing wildly out-of-pocket things. Are you okay? Meaning the opposite of what the words actually say. Meaning, what on earth is wrong with you? It has become a kind of polite mockery, a way of laughing at someone while pretending to care. And maybe the reason that joke works at all is because somewhere underneath it, we all still know what the question is actually for. We still know that asking it sincerely is one of the most disarming things that one human being can do for another, which is why I want to take it back from the internet today. I want to give it back its weight. Are you okay? There was a moment years ago now that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. My friend Jen had stayed behind after some sort of get-together at my house. I have no idea what the occasion was anymore. But what I remember is that everyone else had gone home, coffee cups, teacups, wine glasses still on the counter, and she and I were on the couch. And she asked me how I was. And then before I could deliver a practiced answer, she refused to take it. She asked again and again, and she did not move on. Are you okay? I melted into that couch, and I told her things I had never told anyone. Tender, painful things, trauma I had carried for years, and really had not even let myself fully name. And Jen did not flinch. She did not fix. She did not try to make it any smaller or bigger than it was. She simply held the space with such tenderness that I could feel the inside of my own chest unclench for the first time. And then a few days later, she sent me the phone number of her therapist. I want to say this clearly because I think it matters. That conversation changed my life, both the question and the response, the patient, unfrightened holding of my answer, and then the practical, loving handoff to someone who could help me carry what I had been carrying alone. That is what this question can do when we ask it properly. Are you okay? It can crack a life open in the very best way. And the receiving of the answer matters as much as asking it. The neuroscience of this is more powerful than most of us realize. Matthew Lieberman, a social neuroscientist at UCLA, has spent most of his career mapping how deeply the brain is wired for connection. His research, alongside Naomi Eisenberger's, has shown that social pain, the pain of feeling unseen, excluded, or ignored, activates the same neural circuitry as physical pain. Do you understand that? The brain treats loneliness as injury. It is not a metaphor, it's biology. But the flip side is also true. When we are seen, really seen by another person, the nervous system responds with what psychiatrist Stephen Porges calls co-regulation. Our heart rate slows, our breathing deepens, and the vagus nerve, which runs from the brainstem through the chest and into the gut, sends out a quiet signal. You are safe. You are not alone. You can take your armor off. And no amount of self-talk can replicate that. We are biologically designed to be calmed by one another. This is why the sincere question asked and then listened to can do more good than hours of solitary rumination. It isn't the words, it's the contact. And contact right now matters. In the UK, the Mental Health Foundation estimates that around 1 in 5 adults are living with a common mental health condition such as anxiety or depression. 1 in 4 of us will experience some form of mental health difficulty at some point in our lives, which means if you are listening to this and you are not the 1 in 4 right now, someone you love is. Statistically, almost certainly. And the data is consistent across studies. Most people will not tell you they are struggling unless you ask. Not because they don't trust you, but because the social script makes the truth feel like an imposition, because they don't want to be a burden, because they have been answering fine for so long that the word comes out automatically like a reflex. Here's the part of the conversation we don't talk about enough. Asking the question is the easy bit. Receiving the answer is what most of us are not trained for. If you ask someone, "Are you okay?" and they say, No, I'm not. What happens next? The most common thing we do is try to fix it. We rush in with advice. We suggest therapy. We tell them about our friend whose anxiety was helped by sea swimming. We do this because their pain makes us uncomfortable and we want to make it go away, which is lovely. But what most people actually need from us in that moment is not a fix. It's a witness. The way that Jen was a witness for me on that couch while everything was still out on the counter and needed to be cleaned up. So if you ask the question this week, prepare to do less than you think. Prepare to listen. Repeat back what you've heard and ask another question. Resist the urge to solve, and then gently share a resource if that feels appropriate. Here in the UK, the Samaritans answer the phone 24 hours a day, every day of the year, on 116-123. If someone would rather text than talk, they can text the word SHOUT to 85258 and reach a trained volunteer through a free confidential text service. In the United States, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is reachable by both call and text, just 3 digits, 988. And wherever else you are in the world, your country almost certainly has a crisis line. A quick search online will help you find it. They exist nearly everywhere now, and they are almost always free. And then there is the harder version of the question, the one we ask ourselves. Because most of us are worse at sitting with our own honest answers than we are at sitting with anyone else's, and we're not always great at that. We tend to carry on, to push through. We tell our reflection in the mirror the same script that we tell everyone else. I'm fine. Until we have almost convinced ourselves it's true, even when our body is quietly insisting, you're not fine. This week, I want to invite you to drop the script with yourself, too. Place a hand somewhere on your body, your chest, your stomach, your throat, wherever something has been quietly waiting. Take a breath and ask slowly, am I okay? Really? Notice what the body says before the mind catches up. The body is more honest, a narrator, than the mind. It will tell you what you have been overriding, and then your only job is to listen, not to fix, just to know. So this week, ask the question. Ask it of yourself in the quiet of the morning. Ask it of someone you love and mean it. Ask it of the friend you've been worried about, of the colleague who has gone quiet. Ask it of yourself before you go to sleep. You don't have to solve anything. You only have to be willing to hear the truth. Are you okay? It is one of the smallest, bravest questions there is. Thank you for joining me for one question. If something rose in you as you listened today, if you notice that your honest answer is no, I am not okay, please reach out. Again, in the UK, the Samaritans are at 116-123, 24 hours a day. It's free. Or send SHOUT as a text message to 85258. In the United States, call or text 988. And wherever else you are in the world, please reach out and find someone to talk to. You don't need a reason. You don't need to be in crisis. You only need to want to be heard. You are not a burden. We are so glad you're here. The honest answer is always allowed. Are you okay? Until next week, be kind to yourself, trust your gut, and always ask better questions.